Hi there. Welcome back to The Independence. We are not hostile to you at all. And let's meet our multicultural party panel. It's comedian Tom Shalhoub and Kevin Williamson of the National Review. Those two things rhyme, and we're right on time. All right, well, welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You should borrow his beard. You look like Shel Silverstein. The Giving Tree.
Really.
A little bit. From Where the Sidewalk Ends, the picture from Where the Sidewalk Ends. That's a compliment, by the way. I might be the biggest Shel Silverstein fan in the room. Target is the thinking man's Walmart. They employ 361,000 people, but their part-timers are about to be spit out of luck. They're losing the company health insurance in order to comply with Obamacare, the employer mandates. Those who were supposed to get a boost from Obamacare are getting booted. Is Obamacare screwing more people out of jobs and insurance? Now, I know you have something to say about this. Go ahead. Boom!
Well, you know, it's this crazy economic theory that if you raise the price of something, people want to buy less of it. I mean, shocking and appalling as that may be. The real problem in the long term is we're creating essentially a price premium on full-time employees, which is great if you're a college graduate or a highly skilled person, but if you're at the other end of the job market...
Which is most people, right?
Which is, well, most people working at Target, probably. Or, yeah, but, you know, the lower half of the skills and an education set, then it's going to be much more difficult to get a full-time job. You're creating all sorts of incentives for part-time work.
Have we seen data on that yet so far with Obamacare? I mean, that was one of the big pre-critiques, is that we're going to create a nation of 29-hour-a-week workers. But has there been any kind of good data?
I mean, Target won't even say how many part-time employees they have. They'll tell you how many employees they have, but all they'll say is, really? Well, our number of part-time employees fluctuates. So it's just natural that if you have to provide insurance or if you get penalized $3,000 per worker, if you don't give them full-time
I fully expect it to happen. I was just wondering.
I think you'll probably have to get a couple of years in before you see really good data on it.
Yeah, because 2015 is really...
Yeah. I mean, right now everything's anecdotal, but it sucks if it's your anecdote.
That's true, and it sucks if it's your business.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Kennedy.
Do you love Target?
I do love Target. I used to work in a store, and I don't know. I know Kevin's really smart. I had trouble following what he was saying about the facts and figures. Sometimes I get a little bit lost when we talk about economics.
I wish he had a chart with him.
Well, I'm a kind
or
of
a sack of apples.
I do. I need charts, but I just think common sense. I'm coming from like the working man's angle.
Right.
Yeah. I used to work in a store.
Look at your outfit. That is so
My hands
taller.
aren't going to callous themselves.
No, I used to. They actually said, I got my nails done one time, and the woman said to me, this Russian woman, she said, "Oh, you know, work hard." I guess I don't.
That is an interesting New Jersey accent.
Yeah, exactly. That's not very good Russian. But I worked in a men's clothing store, and if I had worked 29 hours, you basically got everything you needed out of me. I was not going to continue folding sport coats for that last 11 hours. So I think that if stores like Target should cut everyone to 29 hours because they basically... the rest of it is just people walking back and forth.
No, if you've ever worked retail, it's really, really difficult to keep your spirits up when you're doing the same thing over and over again. The good thing about Target is they have a lot of stuff, so you can go to different areas, so you keep busy. I worked in a knife store.
Oh, yeah.
In a sparsely populated mall at 9 at night.
Wasn't that the Beverly Center?
No one goes to the Beverly Center at 9 at night?
No one goes there at 9 in the morning. That place is an empty tomb. It's awful.
I love the Beverly Center, and I'd like to issue an apology on behalf of the Independents. The president is serious about sex assault, and he's putting together an advisory board to combat rape and such horrible things on college campuses. He says it's a national epidemic, and while there is no doubt these things are horrific, is it anything more than a distraction for him? Why is this his new pet topic? And how will his inherent magic snuff out the scourge of sexual assault on campus?
The administration has already been active in this in ways that haven't necessarily been good for justice or freedom of speech or anything like that. They issued a letter, I think it was the University of Montana last year, talking about how they can reduce for campus penalties, right? So if I go to U.C. Santa Barbara and I'm accused of sexual assault of some sort, they encouraged universities to just have a preponderance of the evidence when they make their judgments about whether someone should be kicked off.
So guilty until proven innocent.
There have been cases of people who've been cleared by local police departments who are nonetheless kicked out of schools and given restraining orders.
It's a lower threshold, and it's scary. I mean, you know, it diminishes the seriousness of rape and sex assault. And that's the thing that scares me, because if you're claiming that bad things happen at this lower threshold, then, you know, you get girls who are crying wolf, and that's bad for everyone.
Yeah, a more general observation, though, is this interest in having a government that is doing absolutely everything. I know we'll be talking about health care on this program at some later date. But we've certainly seen multiple administrations, both the Bush administration, the Clinton administration before them, try to tackle things like preventable medical errors. For example, they have these very expensive programs. They trot out these banners and talk about how we'll fix this problem. And these problems get infinitely worse in many cases. And all we do is spend money.
I think these actually fall under the dual umbrella ABS, which is anything but Obamacare, anything but Snowden, because the president just wants to get people talking about anything but those two things.
And really, it's the best case scenario for him because, you know, Republicans will always sort of angrily oppose anything the president does. And the best thing you can do is get Republicans talking about rape. Because if anything in the last 4 or 5 years has shown that they just, you know, should really never, ever let the word come out of their mouths unless they're talking about, you know, being in favor of capital punishment for. Just, you know, this sort of, you know, string of idiotic Republican candidates saying just sort of crazy and indefensible things about it.
Well, you can't get pregnant unless you're trying to.
Yeah, that's that sort of thing. So, you know, from the president's point of view, it's kind of a win-win. And if you look at his actual agenda, it's mostly, you know, giving lots of money to various kinds of public sector employees, which he's always happy to do anyway.
Sector? I don't even know her. All right, Judge Andrew Napolitano has some answers. He's coming up next. The weekend political gum flapping that has us all very fiery and desperate on Snowden, the NSA, and freedom. Stay here.